So hello everyone, here welcome to my review of Ballroom episode 19. I found another really good episode, but I would say it's a slightly worse than last week, so near perfect. I mean last week we just had everything, right? They had sports and everything and so on. Sport, comedy, drama. This week had most of that, but a little bit about the relationship and so on, I guess with Tatara and Shisan and so on. I guess to be had like a perfect score. But well, it had a little bit of the ending start, so definitely for me, I like the whole Shisan Aki-chan part, right? The whole thing there where she's like, I hate her and I want to be her. It's a very interesting dynamic there when she wants to both kind of become her, right? She's also like, but I want her to be my girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, yeah. It's like a very Yuri-ish undertone there where she's definitely kind of in love with Shisan, but she also hates her and she's also jealousy on her because she's like tall and beautiful, she's like, you know, short and chubby and so on. But then after, yeah, that's kind of how it starts a little bit. But then it kind of goes like, oh, I kind of really admire her, or kind of, it kind of goes like, I want to be her, to be with her. I kind of go back and forth, right? So I think it was very good. It was a great quotation here, very interesting. And of course, the last line was my favorite comment there. After the last line was like, "Stop flirting!" I really love this scene there because it feels like she's more aggravated, right? That Shisan now has a boyfriend more than that she's had with someone else. Yeah, it's worse for her that she's another person that she's dating or whatever. Yeah, that kind of thing. She's supposed to be my girl, yeah, or my man or something. So I think that was really good, very interesting. So that's about the flashback. So the flashback, I liked it. The whole hair thing was of course very dramatic, very Shisan, right? Very tomboyish, cutting her hair to prove some point, and the Aki-chan part was great too. I liked it. Yeah. Next day we see Aki-chan also cut her hair to look like Shisan, right? So they both, that was a great part there. And Aki-chan kept short hair since then though, so maybe to have a kind of, make Shisan like him or something, potentially. So the whole flashback generally, kind of half sad. I mean, classic bullying, right? Not super much though, right? I mean, I'm not saying that bullying is good or like not as bad, of course, but it was more like I liked it. I liked it a lot in that sense that it wasn't this kind of ridiculous. Oh, they all bullied me and I had to kill them all. Yeah, it was good that it kept itself on like a decent, like normal level. Of course, some bullying in real world is very horrible and much worse than this. But I mean, a lot of animes, right? They make bullying be like, oh, we're gonna bully this girl, yeah, so you're gonna like force her to, do this thing, and she have to run to buy us cola in the next town, and then we're gonna, yeah, like, those kind of things, right? It's kind of ridiculously overplayed stuff in many animes. So I liked here that was kind of like, yeah, they're all bullying her, and it's just kind of like a more realistic, I guess, realistic bullying. So, which in one way makes it feel sad, right? To me, at least, I think a lot of animes, or any media, where they stay on the realistic level, which like it actually could happen, makes it worse because this is related to then this like extremely overplayed thing. It's like, oh, they bullied me, they made me like walk on, yeah, like yeah, they burned me alive or like whatever. Yeah, like this kind of ridiculous overtone things. Versus it's like, oh, they punched me once a day. It's like, okay, that's bad, and that's something people have. It happens to a lot of people every day. So you can say, yeah, that can see happening. That happened to me for a month, or I see a kid in my class that have that problem. So yeah, like that's something you can like, yeah, man, that happened, yeah. But so I think this was really good that it stayed on that. Oh, they're bullying her, they're calling her fat, and they're calling Shishan skeleton up because she's very tall and thin and so on. So that is the skeleton and fat. So that was weird though. They was carrying that stuff in kind of a lab coat thing. That was weird. I didn't get that. I guess it's the thing here. I guess the Japanese thing that they actually care about the students. At least when I was a kid, right, they were carrying dangerous stuff. You just carried them like that, right? Yeah. There was no protection. There was no eye goggles. I remember we had one course at least somewhere at my high school. We had like those goggles somewhere, but it's probably like in some kind of woodworking or something like that. We didn't have it in the chemistry lab or the physics labs. We didn't have any protection there. I don't think so, at least. I can't remember now. I'm pretty sure we didn't. We didn't have it in the lab course or nothing, right? So maybe that's why I was like, oh, lab course, you have that for kids? Who cares about kids? Yeah, I was like, a little bit of that. Anyway, skeleton, yeah, they bullied them and so on, right? And So I liked it a lot. That's realistic. And of course, Shi-san, because Shi-san, Chinatsu, she is cray-cray. You know, she is a very, very strong personality, right? So of course, she takes it to the next level. I mean, I'm gonna freaking kill you, right? So she takes it to the next level. I think it was really great. I think that was really, really great because, I say again, the bullies for obviously mean kids, right? You know, shitty kids, but they were still kind of on the basic, I said again, basic kind of bully level where they just call you fat, and they don't really do anything about it. They just call you fat, right? But she's like, I'm gonna kill you with this scissor, yeah. She takes it to the next level, right? She's the one that's like, I'm gonna freaking cut your stuff off. So that was great. And that she's the slate, right, for the horse stuff. And of course she does it, I think it was a great scene as well, how, you know, she's not really friends with Aki-chan, yeah. They're kind of just like classmates, you kind of maybe talk a little bit. And then the other girls are like, don't be friends with her, because the boys bully her a lot. So if you're friends with her, you're also getting bullied. She's like, you know, she's like, fuck you. I am friends with who I want. Yeah, I'm gonna kiss ass. Yeah. So I like that as well. He's like, no. Don't tell me who I can't be friends with. Yeah. So then that triggers her, right, to beat them up, and the whole hair scene and so on. Prove a point. So I think it was great. I think overall the whole scene was very good. And yeah, then you can listen to dancing and so on. The dancing part was actually, I wouldn't say it's weaker, but yeah, actually it's weaker. It wasn't bad, but that was actually more weaker. I think the whole drama in schools was better. Then the whole dance is kind of like, oh, we danced, and they kind of were like, okay, sure. The difference here because we danced first, used to have fun, and then we danced to win, because Shi-san is a very tomboyish character. She's like, oh, I can win at this thing, I can beat people. Yeah, and she triggers her up there. That wasn't so important. I think it was more about that the other girls, right, they were like against her. They were more like, oh, she thinks she was better than us. Yeah, they were doing that thing. And where Aki-chan kind of had in her a very little bit in the beginning, then she was like, no, it's perfect. She's all mine. Yeah, all mine. It's great when they all hate her, because I can love her more. So I think that was much more about that, right? I don't think the actual dancing was very in the center there, that you have to do dance. You can do any sport, right? And they kind of the same relation there. So I don't know how I felt about that. It's kind of like, whatever. I guess she's point early in the episode, like, you don't even like dancing. I guess that's a good point for her, because yeah, she's more about doing it. She's like, Aki-chan wants to do something with her, right? Yeah, she wants to be with Yuri in her Yuri mode. Yeah, she wants to have Yuri up Shi-san all the time. That's why she dances with her. If Shi-san wanted to do whatever, I don't know, soccer or something, they be on the same soccer team, right? Because it seems to be Shi-san's mom that's like, oh, dancing is great. And there's no boys here, so that's great as well. I don't have to worry, it's only girls, perfect. Like that thing, yeah. So I think that she has a very good point there in that sense too, because she probably very much realizes that, well, the only reason Aki-chan never stopped dancing was because I went there and she followed me. She was my follower and I was the lead, both in the dance and outside, right? So I think that's something that's very important there. But anyway, the other part, the first 10 minutes or so, roughly, whatever, they were good. But yeah, really good. I like the whole none of the perfect score thing, and it's like, could you please photo, please photo me. He's like struggling there. I hate these kids. That was great, and the fight was good too. I like the fight between, I can't remember his name, sorry, but Aki-chan and her, the older man. And I was kind of really very Japanese here. So it was like, oh man, I made this old gentleman apologize. Embarrassing, yeah. Like it's embarrassing there. She was like screaming at him, right? It's like, I'm sorry, yeah. And she got guilty and embarrassed for that. But I like the whole Shi-san part of it. She was like, no, you're an idiot. Yeah, I like that part. She was like, no, your fights are about you blaming him for your own mistakes, or like your fights are generally more about you being frustrated, you being angry, you're emotional, basically, right? Where me and Tatara, we fight all the time, but our fights, we are like, this step is wrong, you did that too fast, get your hands up higher. Yeah, we fight on the details of our skills, right? That's a very interesting point for her to make there, which is very, very true, which is something that Marissa also mentioned. They're fighting a lot, but they're fighting about the particular dance and the particular, okay, we're gonna do this thing now, we're gonna do a spin now. It's like, don't turn me around! Those kind of things, yeah. They're fighting about the actual, what they are performing. With Aki-chan's fight, it's more about, oh, you're a bad partner, I don't like you anymore. Yeah, that's more of the emotional, the fluff that doesn't really matter for at least the current fight. There's a fight you can have after it's done, right? like, oh, you're gonna break up and so on. That's a fight you can have after the tournament, where, yeah, Tatoras and she's fighting more like, this is a fight we can have right now, because we can do it in the next dance and improve. Or we can be upset and do bad. But generally, I think it's a very good, difference, right? And which is kind of pointed out there. Doesn't really elaborate on it, but I would say that's kind of what she's going for, right? It's like, our fights have meaning, because we are talking about the actual technical stuff there, the actual, like, factual stuff. You are fighting about your whatever in your brain that doesn't really matter right now. So, probably something why she didn't really, why she fights more of Sakura too, because it kind of like more give and take right in that battle. That was great. Generally, you see Aki-chan breaking down right, they have a minus point. Pretty good. It of course ended. I mean, it led into the flashback more, so not very. The whole vase part. I liked it though. I genuinely liked it. I love the kind of things. You're sitting there and you're looking at people and you're analyzing how they move, you're analyzing how they look and so on. But I do it a lot of work, so so that's what I can relate to a lot. I think it's actually very interesting to sit there, you analyze people when they walk by you, and you're like, that guy, he's hurrying, he's late for this thing. I think we're on a date, looking at his clothes, and it's like, how he smells. So that's very interesting to do the thing with people, right? And so I like the whole part there when Shisan and Tatter are like that couple. They're gonna win, or not win, but they're gonna go on to the next heat because like his hair is better, he has bought these expensive clothes. You can see his whole persona is better, like his whole style is gonna give it more points. That person over there is wearing a kind of hand down, a kind of cheap suit that gives a minus points, and that's very interesting to hear that lack of confidence. So I like the whole part. I like the thing, but that was pretty much the best part of the dance part. The rest was just like mainly really flashback. But anyway, I really liked the episode. I would give it probably a 9.5 out of 10. This is nitpicking, but it's like, man, the whole episode like last week was so good. So it's also everything's better, right? Last week was amazing. And this is also a really, really good episode, but it's like it's not on that level. But I still liked it a lot though, and it made a lot of sense. So great episode. And see you guys next week. Have a great day.